てかよせ高柳ほらやめて正一郎様
Consoles. We love them, we cherish them. An intricate part of our childhood for niggas like me who absolutely refuse to go outside. Pieces of technology that, if you're like me, gave you core memories growing up as a kid. Whether it's those late night conversations in the party playing games with the boys, or inviting your family and friends over with you to play games in the living room. We all had different experiences with them growing up, but the common denominator is that they made happy memories for us. So today I'm about to give y'all the top consoles that had the most influence on our generation, the most aura, the most sauce, call it whatever you want to call it. Keep in mind this is my opinion, not fact. You don't gotta go to war for these billion-dollar companies if you don't see your favorite console on the list, bruh. Without further ado, let's get into it! Just like in the intro of my video, we're gonna start this off with the PS4. It's the best selling console of the 8th generation. Completely dusted the Xbox One and Wii U. It had all the good exclusives of this generation, made the Xbox One look like a glorified DVD player. I mean, if you go back and watch the Xbox One reveal, that's kinda what they advertised it as.
Content, home of Xbox. Entertainment.
Watch TV. Now, have you ever wanted to do more than one thing at a time when you're watching TV? Of course you have.
Television, TV.
For the first time, you and your TV are going to have a relationship.
Now this isn't me hating on Xbox or anything. Matter of fact, I owned an Xbox One instead of a PS4, which I regret years later. My ass could have been playing God of War and Spider-Man on release. Now I gotta wait 4 years for them to come out on PC. It's just tragic what they did to the Xbox brand. But yeah, PS4. I don't think I gotta say too much about it because it's fresh in y'all memory. When it came out, it didn't do anything revolutionary like the consoles prior to it did. It was just more of an evolution of the already good PS3. But a console doesn't need to be revolutionary to be good, because what is a console made for? Games, and what you can't argue with is that game catalog it had. Great all-around console, man. Next up we have the Nintendo Switch. Now I want y'all to put yourselves in an era before the Switch for me. For at least a decade, people have always wanted a handheld that could handle console level games, but the technology at the time just couldn't allow it. The only way we could experience something even close to what the Switch does now back in the day was when Nintendo tried to do something similar with it with the Wii U, but we're not even gonna talk about the Wii U, bruh. PlayStation also had this thing going on where you could stream PS3 games to the PS Vita, but that would require you to have two consoles around the same price range. And you know what's funny? PlayStation did the exact same thing again years later. Like, nigga, no one's buying this! Doing all that extra shit instead of making a fucking PSP, nigga. The Switch went on to become one of the fastest selling consoles ever. And they wasn't done there. During the pandemic, they said, you know what? Here go two more for y'all. Dropping the Lite version, which is strictly handheld, and dropping the OLED version. They could have not picked a better time to release the cheaper Lite version. I know them Nintendo CEOs was laughing all the way to the bank. They just dropped one of the best handhelds in a time where people had nothing to do but stay in their house and waste time all day. But Nintendo not new to this business of dropping fire-ass handhelds, and that brings me to the next console on the list, the Game Boy. Now, Nintendo Game Boy, released in 1989, was one of the precursors to modern handhelds. Even though its predecessor, the Nintendo Game & Watch, basically walked so it could run, this is the console that popularized handheld as a whole. It had the function of interchangeable cartridges and 15 hours of battery life. This and the other versions that came after it, famously the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Advance SP, solidified its position as one of the all-time greats. Now, back in my day, before the current age of streaming and pirating, In order to watch our favorite movies at home, we had to buy DVDs, whether it be from an official source or from vendors on the side with terrible cam recordings. Basically, what I'm getting at is that the PS2 had a DVD player, which was crazy at the time, which is one of the reasons why it got so many sales on the initial part of its release. Coupled up with the fact that you could already play your existing PS1 catalog on it, with its own huge library consisting of games like Tekken Tag, DMC3, Kingdom Hearts 2, San Andreas, all the good Grand Thefts really. They had Vice City on it too, God of War, Final Fantasy, Mortal Kombat, Ratchet and Clank, Gran Turismo. The more I go up this list, the less I'm gonna have to say because y'all already know. The next console on my list is the I just realized that this video has been going on for way longer than I want it to be, so I'm gonna just speed run the rest. Wii, cool. Unlike a lot of consoles with motion controls, it wasn't gimmicky. A lot of the games in its catalog were catered to it. Said catalog had a huge range of multiplayer games that was fun for the whole family. It was really a family console. If you have a gathering of people from different backgrounds and different age groups, and you want to get all of them to participate in an activity together, just bring a Wii. Alright, next. Xbox 360. Do I even need to talk about the Xbox 360? If you know, you already know. This was the only time Xbox was ever on top in the console wars. How the mighty have fallen. And now my pick for the #1 console with the most aura of all time. It is the Sega Dreamcast. I can't even make that joke, bro. It's the PSP and Nintendo DS. The reason why I put both of these at the top is because I can't choose between either. They're both so influential in every kid's life who was born in the early 2000s. Let's start with the DS. That shit was everywhere. From the late 2000s to the early 2010s, what it was, the regular DS, the DSi, the 3DS, damn near every single person owned the DS at some point in their lifetime. And that's what made it so fire, is that you could link up and play with so many different people. People who you didn't even think were in the games. There's so many memories with this console, man. Good times. Now to the PSP. The PSP is one of the most highly regarded consoles of all time. It's basically a pocket PS1/PS2. I had so many games on my PSP. The only thing that was really limiting me was the storage I had. You could browse the internet with it, and you could put songs on it and use it as an MP3. The DS wasn't doing none of that. Heck, the Nintendo Switch don't even do that right now. I mean, granted, we got our phones and shit with Spotify and Apple Music that can do that for us now, but still, that's besides the point. It can't hurt to add extra features, you know what I'm saying? This was truly the best generation for handhelds, man. They really need to bring these back. But yeah, man, that was my opinion on some of the best consoles. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And with that, I'm out. Catch y'all later, man.